Welcome to another edition of Daily Airline News, focusing on the search for MH370. I'm Jeffrey Thomas, and I'm delighted to say joined by my co-host Blaine Gibson. Good afternoon to you, Blaine.
Good afternoon, Jeffrey.
So, Blaine, you've got some more debris that's been handed into you finally. It's been around for a while, but we haven't seen it yet. So perhaps you can talk the viewers through these two new pieces of debris from MH370.
Yes, these are two small pieces which were found quite a few years ago and saved by local people. But as you know, during COVID and after the assassination of the consul, not much debris was getting out. And these are small pieces that are probably exterior. I don't think it's interior cabin debris. Small pieces of the exterior fuselage, maybe wing, don't know. However, both of them are the white color from Malaysia Airlines, and then a layer of the gray, and then a honeycomb that is 1 3/8 inches thick. Both of the pieces, number 51 and 52, are quite similar and probably from near each other on the plane. And they were found by the local people in Ansirica, Madagascar in early 2017 and just kept. And as you know, my friends have been asking around and showing pictures. Hey, have you found anything? The families put a notice out to be on the lookout for debris, and they came across these two pieces. I am hoping that these debris will not be that important because the aircraft is found. I hope it is found in November or early next year, this season. However, if it is not, I think it is very important to keep publishing and disclosing as many of these pieces of debris as we can.
Yes, and when you say these are exterior, for the viewers, they would say, well, exterior honeycomb. Well, this would be aerodynamic fairings, which there are a lot of on all aircraft. So they're non-structural, and therefore they make them as light as possible. But they're an aerodynamic fairing to cut down drag. That's what they're used. That's what this sort of material is used for.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
And so I'm interested in hearing all the viewers and other experts' impressions of these pieces and where they are from.
Yeah, absolutely. And I understand too, Blaine. I mean, you know that we had a source in the United States that confirmed that Ocean Infinity will be resuming the search in November. Now, I also understand you've had it also confirmed by another source. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. That the search is set to resume in November, and I'm delighted to hear that, and hope they find the plane right away. The sooner, the better.
Yeah, well, the one thing we don't know is exactly where they're going to start. Are they going to go back down to those two southernmost locations? Are they going to start in the north where the Whisper area is? That information we do not have yet, and we probably won't know until we see which ship is tracking to where. So that question probably won't be answered until early November.
And I agree with Ocean Infinity's decision not to announce that, not to make that public. There is so much rivalry and such a toxic atmosphere in the 370 community and among the media that as soon as they do, all these experts are going to start fighting with one another, and all the disinformation trolls are going to erupt. So I think that Ocean Infinity is correctly remaining silent on that.
Yeah, so do I. And on misinformation, we've got a couple of questions for you, Blaine. Icarus 370, he wants to know what are the biggest and most widely repeated misstatements about MH370. You already told us where, but what do you really think happened to 370, and the who, how, and why? So it's a pretty wide-ranging set of questions there, but let's start with the misstatements on MH370.
Well, thank you, Icarus. Again, you've been very good with your questions, and these are both excellent ones. Um, First of all, there are the people who suffer from Malaysia Airlines derangement syndrome. That's where they came up with some theory of where the plane was early on, 11 years ago, and just stick to it in spite of all the evidence and continue to push it. Those are ones who claim that it was shot down in the South China Sea or crashed near Java or ditched and floated in the Andaman Sea, went to Diego Garcia, Kazakhstan. There are all of those. However, that's just kind of a fringe that believe that. I think if I were to look at the biggest misstatements that are made by often by genuinely good people who are simply listening to the misinformation uh, that are incorrect, that appear to be widespread, repeated, and parroted. I'll list some of those general ones. Uh, One is I hear many people say there's been no debris recovered or no confirmed debris recovered. Well, that is completely inaccurate. There have been now 52 pieces of debris recovered, 33 in the official Annex 13 report, and three have been absolutely confirmed by matching serial numbers, and about 20 more have been stated to be almost certainly from 9mmRO because they match the paint, they match the stencil, they match the honeycomb, they identify where it is from on the plane. So the oft repeated statement that no debris has been recovered is simply wrong. And another one that is made by some people, especially after Netflix show, is that, oh, well, one guy found all the debris. Well, that's not true. I know that the one guy they're talking about is me. There have been 52 pieces of debris now recovered. Of those, 28 were found and collected by me from local people. I only found about 7 pieces myself. The rest were collected from local people. And 24 have been found in 6 different countries by more than 20 people who are totally unrelated to me, completely unrelated. And so the statement that one guy found all the debris is simply wrong. I think that's something that the disinformation agents have been spreading in order to discredit the debris and discredit me, but it is simply not true. Another one that is very often said is that the plane is intact underwater or the fuselage is intact underwater. Well, it isn't. There are 52 pieces of debris and 33 in the Annex 13 report that prove that it is not intact underwater. So you can debate how large the pieces are that are underwater. You can debate whether it was an attempt at ditching or not, but the statement that the plane is intact underwater, the fuselage is intact underwater, those are simply disproven by all the evidence. There have been 52 pieces of debris found from all parts of the plane, including 19 small shattered pieces from the interior cabin. Another one that is often said is they know exactly where the plane is. They, the famous they. That's usually stated without any description of who the they is, but it is often made regarding the United States of America. But, I don't think that anyone knows exactly where the plane is. There may be some information that we don't know that indicates more about where it is, but I don't think anyone knows exactly where the plane is. And I think that the information about where it is all public and out there. So that sort of conspiracy theory that everyone knows where it is, no, it's simply not right. The main misinformation statements that seem to be pushed by the people who don't want 370 found are that anything is possible and the plane could be anywhere. Well, not anything is possible, and the plane could not be anywhere. We know that it's in a certain area of the southeastern Indian Ocean, and not anything is possible. We know that it wasn't shot down. We know that it didn't land in Diego Garcia or Kazakhstan. Those are crazy theories. But just the general statement that anything is possible, the plane could be anywhere, well, that may have been pretty much true at the beginning, but not now. We've got a pretty good idea where it is, and we need to renew the search and find it.
Yeah. So Icarus, one of the other things I think too, Blaine, one of the things that annoys me is when they say there was no debris trail, therefore the plane can't be here. And I just can't get that. I cannot. I find that the biggest question mark of the lot as far as theories are concerned, because the reality is we didn't start searching in the area where we now believe it is till 20 days after it was lost, and
Right.
two cold fronts went through during that period of time, and therefore any debris trail, and I'm sure there was shortly after it, when it crashed, there would have been a debris trail for sure, but it all got simply moved over the next 20 days and dispersed all over the place. So there was no debris trail left at all. I find that
Yeah.
extraordinary. People don't get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very good, Jeffrey, that you added that. I should have included it. I'm glad that you mentioned that, because by the time they started the search in the right ocean and the right hemisphere in the right area, the debris had dispersed. So that's why
Yeah.
none was spotted.
Yeah. Icarus also asks another question of you, Blaine. Do you think the disinformation campaign will persist even after 370 is found in the southern Indian Ocean? I think they will. I think they'll go on forever.
I agree. They will go on forever. There are still people who believe that the earth is flat and the sun revolves around it, who believe that the lunar landing was faked. Uh,
Mm,
some people will simply never stop. I would hope that the people who are just pushing their theories, that the plane was shot down in the South China Sea or landed in Kazakhstan or Diego Garcia or Andaman Sea or Straits of Malacca, I would hope that they would simply admit they were wrong and move on.
mm,
But I would not guarantee that would happen.
mm,
What will happen is that the disinformation campaign will change. For
mm.
example, if something is found in the cargo, they'll be trying to explain that away. If it's
Yep.
found to be the captain, the people who don't want it to be the captain are going to try to dissuade and move away from that. Or
Mm,
if it's found not to be the captain, people will try to continue to try to argue it was.
mm,
However, I think that the majority of the people out there and the families will be very satisfied if the plane is found, the wreckage is found, will believe in the results of the investigation, and that will put an end, if not to the crazy disinformation theories out there, at least it will put an end to the mystery and the public believing those theories. So I
yeah,
hope that will happen.
sure. Now, staying with the debris, Suresh Kapoor, 6875, asks the question: the heavy landing parts, well, that's the landing undercarriage, and engines, where have these heavy parts gone? Well, I could answer that as well. They've gone to the bottom.
Yes, they've gone to the bottom and they will sink pretty much straight down. The notion that there are underwater currents that move the debris far away from the crash site. No, the underwater currents are minimal. The heavy pieces will go pretty much straight down and are sitting on the seafloor waiting to be found. And the
Mm,
seafloor is very calm. It doesn't get all covered by mud and things like that. And I think as soon as they search in the right place, they will see those heavy pieces,
yeah,
and the debris field will be relatively concentrated underneath the crash site.
yeah. On the same question or same vein, I should say, Blaine, APC 3613 asks, if the plane shattered on impact, does that mean there might not be any fuselage, etc., to find?
Well, there won't be an intact fuselage to fight. However, there will be pieces of the fuselage to find. Uh, I don't think they'll be very large, but there will be large pieces like the undercarriage, and maybe the cockpit will be somewhat intact. We
Hmm.
don't know. So there will be pieces of the fuselage to find, but not the intact fuselage itself.
And viewers might be interested to know that the Boeing 777 is an incredibly well built aeroplane, incredibly strong. And so, as Blaine said, the fuselage will not be intact. It'll be, I think it'll be in many pieces, and there could be some quite large pieces, but it possibly could be barely recognised as a fuselage. But there will certainly be some sizable parts, I would imagine, because of the structure
Yes.
of the aircraft. Now, from from Lingy, given the small amount of debris found, it was probably a controlled ditching, leaving most largely intact plane to sink. Well, that goes against what we've just been saying, but perhaps you can address that question, Blaine.
Well, it's not a largely intact plane, and there is not a small amount of debris found. The reason that only 52 pieces have been found is that there was never an official search done of beaches and shorelines. The aerial searches were done 3 weeks after the debris dispersed, and the failure of governments to do coastline searches in Africa is why very few debris have been recovered. A Coast Guard officer in Mauritius on foot patrol found one piece of debris. Otherwise, all the debris have been found by private citizens just walking on the beach, and by me and my team who are actually looking for it. So the premise is wrong. There has not been a small amount of debris found, and the debris that has been found proves that it was not a mostly intact ditching. And the fact that the Tanzania wing flap was determined to be retracted at time of separation, and the flaperon as well, point to it not being even an attempted ditching. It was a
Yeah.
high speed crash.
And the other thing to consider here is you're talking about thousands of kilometers of deserted beaches on the the Africa, um, and also all the islands, Madagascar, Mauritius, etc., etc. And just imagine if Malaysia had said after the first piece of debris was found on La Réunion, the flaperon, if they'd put a bounty of $100 on every piece of debris to be handed in, cripes, we'd be talking about thousands and thousands of pieces that would have been handed in because you would have had everybody out beachcombing for it.
Yes, you would have, and that should have been done.
It should have
And
been.
the head of civil aviation in Madagascar, after the flaperon was found, before I found any debris in Madagascar, he proposed to Malaysia a
Yeah.
search of the beaches and shorelines in Madagascar. The only countries that did official searches
Yep.
were France, La Réunion, and Mauritius.
Yep.
None of the others did. Malaysia never offered a reward. It was the 370 families
Yeah.
and me who
Yeah.
offered a small reward for people who handed in debris. And as soon as we did, there were all these kids out on the beach looking. And as you can see from the family's efforts and my efforts, some debris is still showing up. If
Yeah.
an official search had been done of beaches and shorelines way back in 2015, 2016, there would be lots more debris found. No question.
And talking of that, Blaine, we've only got time for one more question. And this is from Barbara Magorchi at 8536. Could you please show a map marked where each of the debris was found? This would be so helpful. Well, we can do that, and we're going to show it right now, and I'll get Blaine just to comment. But we're also going to show you as well a spreadsheet, which has been done by Richard Godfrey and Blaine together, which also lists all the debris. So as Blaine discusses it, that's what you're going to be seeing on the screen. Over to you, Blaine.
Well, that's great, Barbara. Very good suggestion. It's very good that you said that. Here are the maps. I love maps. And one is the UWA map that shows where his drift model, Professor Patirachi's drift model, predicted debris would arrive and where it did arrive. And you can see that debris arrived in 6 different countries: La Réunion, which is France, Mauritius, Madagascar, Tanzania, Mozambique, and South Africa. And all the debris was found in the southwestern Indian Ocean on the Africa side, and unfortunately, no debris yet on the Australian side.
Yeah.
So the map is very valuable. His map guided me on where to go, and it accurately predicted where and when debris would arrive.
Mm. Indeed. Blaine, thank you very much indeed for bringing us these new pieces of debris. It gets more and more exciting as more tends to be handed in now, and as the search gets closer, I'm sure we'll probably have some more handed in the next month or so, or weeks or so. So I know you're in touch with all your contacts, and they're still looking, are they not?
They are still looking, they are still collecting. My local friends in Madagascar go out to anyone who says they've got something that might be part of the plane, and they get it and they send me pictures, and I will be revealing those here. I think this is very important that we keep the memory of 370 alive and keep
Yep.
providing this information. And then I hope that the underwater search produces the plane this season, the
Yeah,
underwater wreckage.
I'm sure it will. So, listeners, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. And if you don't, please do. Please like us. Please keep those wonderful comments coming. They're very supportive and we do appreciate them. And do keep those questions coming. We do read them all, although we unfortunately can't get to them all. We do read them all and we do appreciate them very much indeed. And once again, Blaine, thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you very much to all viewers and to you, Jeffrey and Richard, for your work.